What happens when Honda builds a sedan with an aggressive body, a sophisticated all-wheel drive system, a serious performance version, and enough visual attitude to frighten the neighbors, but still refuses to call it a direct BMW fighter? You get the Acura TLX, one of the most confusing premium sedans in America. It looks like a sports car wearing a business suit, yet some drivers describe it as heavy, complicated, and not quite as exciting as the styling promises. So, is the Acura TLX a genuine sports sedan? Or is it simply an extremely attractive commuter with an excellent marketing department? Today on VHCar, we are going deeper than the usual review that reads the specifications, opens the trunk, and acts surprised because the seats are comfortable. We are going to examine why the TLX exists, what makes it different from an ordinary Honda, how it compares with the BMW 3 Series, Audi A4, Lexus IS, Genesis G70, and Cadillac CT5, and whether the Type S finally transforms it into the performance sedan Acura always claimed it could be. Tell us in the comments what you currently drive and whether you would choose the TLX over one of its German rivals. The TLX first arrived for the 2015 model year, replacing two very different Acura sedans, the smaller TSX and the larger TL. That meant one car suddenly had to satisfy buyers who wanted efficiency, comfort, luxury, technology, and performance. Because apparently, combining two audiences with completely different priorities into one product always works perfectly. Just ask almost any company that has ever tried it. The first generation TLX was sensible, comfortable, and generally dependable, but it never fully developed the personality enthusiasts expected. It offered 4-cylinder and V6 engines, front-wheel drive, and Acura's available super-handling all-wheel drive system. It was a good premium sedan, but good is a difficult word to build excitement around. Nobody hangs a poster on the wall that says, "Adequately competent transportation." That changed dramatically when Acura introduced the second-generation TLX for the 2021 model year. Instead of simply redesigning the body and adding a larger screen, Acura gave the car a model-specific platform, a wider stance, a longer hood, a lower roofline, and proportions that made it look much more expensive than it was. The front end became sharper, the body became more muscular, and the entire car finally looked like something designed by people who occasionally enjoyed driving. The standard TLX uses a turbocharged 2.0-liter 4-cylinder engine, producing 272 horsepower and 280 pound-feet of torque. It is connected to a 10-speed automatic transmission, with front-wheel drive or Acura's available SHAWD system depending on the configuration. Those numbers are respectable, especially for a premium sedan intended to handle commuting, highway travel, and occasional enthusiastic driving. The engine delivers strong mid-range acceleration, and the transmission provides enough ratios to keep it responsive. But the TLX is not a lightweight car. Depending on the configuration, it can weigh more than some larger competitors. You feel that mass when accelerating, braking, and changing direction. The car is quick enough, but it does not leap forward with the effortless urgency you might expect after looking at its enormous grille and dramatic bodywork. That weight comes partly from the TLX's substantial structure, sound insulation, technology, and available all-wheel drive hardware. The result is a sedan that feels solid and secure, especially at highway speeds. It gives the driver confidence, but it can also feel more like a fast grand touring car than a lightweight sports sedan. Acura's SHAWD system is one of the TLX's most interesting features. It can distribute power not only between the front and rear axles, but also between the rear wheels. During cornering, the system can send more torque to the outside rear wheel, helping the car rotate into the turn. In normal language, it makes a relatively heavy sedan feel more willing to change direction than its size would suggest. The steering is accurate, the body remains controlled, and the chassis feels capable on a winding road. But compared with a rear-wheel drive BMW 3 Series or Genesis G70, the TLX can feel less playful. It grips the road and follows instructions, but it does not always invite the driver to become part of the experience. Think of it as a highly trained security professional, competent, composed, and not especially interested in entertaining your bad decisions. The interior continues that balance between sport and luxury. The dashboard surrounds the driver, the materials feel substantial, and the seats provide excellent support. Physical controls remain available for several important functions, which is refreshing in an era when some manufacturers expect drivers to enter 3 touchscreen menus just to adjust the temperature. However, Acura's touchpad-based infotainment interface has been one of the TLX's most controversial features. It is not completely unusable, but it requires practice, patience, and perhaps a brief conversation with your own expectations. The system is designed so the touchpad corresponds directly to positions on the display, but many drivers still find a touchscreen more natural. And that brings us to the central contradiction of the Acura TLX. It has the design, engineering, and hardware of a serious premium sports sedan. Yet it occasionally makes decisions that prevent it from feeling completely natural. The standard model is powerful, but heavy. The cabin is luxurious, but not always intuitive. The chassis is sophisticated, but not as playful as some competitors. Then there is the TLX Type S, the version that adds a turbocharged V6, standard SHAWD, stronger brakes, performance suspension tuning, and the kind of exhaust system that finally gives the aggressive styling an appropriate voice. But does the Type S solve the TLX's identity crisis? Or does it simply create a faster version of the same complicated formula? The short answer is yes. The Type S solves part of the TLX's identity crisis. The longer answer is that it also creates an entirely new question. If Acura wanted to build a serious performance sedan, why did it make the car so heavy? Under the hood, the TLX Type S uses a turbocharged 3.0-liter V6, producing 355 horsepower and 354 pound-feet of torque. That power goes through a 10-speed automatic transmission and Acura's standard super-handling all-wheel drive system. Compared with the regular TLX, it also receives performance-oriented suspension tuning, larger brakes, additional cooling, stronger structural components, and a more aggressive exhaust system. In other words, Acura did not simply add red badges and charge thousands of dollars for emotional support. Press the accelerator firmly, and the Type S finally begins to behave like the styling suggests it should. The turbocharged V6 delivers strong torque at relatively low engine speeds, which makes the car feel energetic when leaving a stoplight or passing slower traffic. The exhaust sounds deeper than the standard 4-cylinder, and Sport Plus mode sharpens the throttle, transmission, steering, and all-wheel drive response. But the Type S does not feel violently fast. It is quick, confident, and capable, but it does not produce the same sense of urgency as some similarly priced competitors. A BMW M340i feels lighter on its feet and accelerates with more authority. A Genesis G70 with the twin-turbo V6 can feel more playful. A Cadillac CT4V offers sharper responses, while the Lexus IS 500 gives you a naturally aspirated V8 soundtrack that makes sensible financial decisions temporarily seem unnecessary. The Acura fights back with traction. SHAWD gives the Type S excellent stability when accelerating out of corners, especially on wet or imperfect roads. The system actively distributes torque between the rear wheels, helping the sedan rotate rather than simply dragging itself through a corner. You can feel the car becoming more neutral as power is applied, which gives the driver confidence without requiring professional racing experience or a lawyer waiting beside the track. The steering is precise, and the adaptive suspension keeps body movement under control. However, the Type S never completely hides its weight. During rapid direction changes, you can feel that you are guiding a substantial machine. The car grips well, but it does not dance. It enters a corner like a trained athlete wearing a heavy winter coat. Still capable, just carrying more equipment than necessary. That weight becomes even more confusing when you examine the interior space. The TLX is a relatively large vehicle on the outside, yet the rear seat is not especially generous. Taller passengers may find headroom and legroom tighter than expected, and the center seating position is best reserved for short journeys or someone who recently insulted the driver. The trunk is usable for luggage, groceries, and ordinary daily life, but it does not offer class-leading cargo capacity. This is one of the TLX's strangest contradictions. It occupies plenty of road, yet it does not always translate those exterior dimensions into passenger room. Acura prioritized styling, structure, and chassis design rather than creating the most spacious sedan in the segment. The front seats are a much better story. They provide strong lateral support without becoming uncomfortable during long drives. The driving position feels appropriately low and focused, while the dashboard wraps around the driver. Materials are generally impressive, with soft surfaces, metal trim, available premium leather, and excellent build quality. The available ELS Studio audio system is another highlight. It produces detailed, powerful sound and remains one of the better factory systems available in this price range. That matters because when traffic turns a 30-minute journey into a 90-minute journey, your performance sedan temporarily becomes a very expensive music room. Acura improved the TLX for the 2024 model year with a quieter cabin, updated styling, a standard 12.3-inch digital instrument display, a larger center display, expanded standard equipment, and improved driver assistance technology. The Type S retained its 355 horsepower turbo V6 and received visual updates intended to make it look even more aggressive. Unfortunately, the controversial touchpad remained. Some owners adapt to it and eventually operate the system without much difficulty. Others continue wondering why Acura placed a large display in front of them and then refused to let them simply touch it. The interface is not dangerous or impossible, but it creates unnecessary friction in a car that otherwise feels carefully engineered. Fuel economy is also not one of the Type S's greatest talents. The combination of a turbocharged V6, all-wheel drive, performance tires, and substantial weight means it consumes fuel more like a traditional performance sedan than an efficient Honda product. It also recommends premium gasoline because apparently 355 horses refuse to drink anything affordable. Then there is the most surprising development in the entire TLX story. Acura's current American website states that the TLX is no longer available as a new vehicle and directs interested buyers towards certified pre-owned examples or the smaller Integra. Acura's present US lineup lists the Integra, ADX, RDX, and MDX, leaving the brand without a direct new replacement for the TLX. That means the TLX Type S is no longer simply an unusual alternative to German sports sedans. It has become something more interesting, a discontinued performance sedan with a powerful V6, advanced all-wheel drive, distinctive styling, and potentially attractive used prices. But before calling it a future bargain, we need to examine reliability, maintenance, depreciation, common problems, and whether buying a used TLX is genuinely smart, or merely a less expensive way to inherit someone else's expensive decisions. So, is buying a used Acura TLX a smart move? Or are you simply volunteering to become the next person searching the internet for mysterious dashboard warning light at midnight? The answer depends heavily on the model, its maintenance history, and whether you want the regular 2.0-liter TLX or the more complicated Type S. The standard TLX is likely the more rational long-term choice. Its turbocharged 4-cylinder engine is shared in principle with other modern Honda and Acura products. The 10-speed automatic is widely used, and routine maintenance is relatively conventional. You still have turbocharger plumbing, direct fuel injection, electronics, and potentially the SHAWD system. So this is not a 1990s Honda Civic with 4 moving parts and a radio that only works when the weather is warm. The Type S adds more performance, but it also adds more financial possibilities. Its turbocharged V6, adaptive suspension, larger brakes, performance tires, and standard all-wheel drive create a more entertaining car. but every additional piece of hardware eventually becomes an additional item that can wear out. Larger tires cost more, high-performance brakes cost more, and premium gasoline becomes part of the relationship. Apparently, the S stands for sport, but occasionally it also stands for send money. That does not mean the Type S is unreliable. It means buyers should approach it like a genuine performance sedan rather than an ordinary Honda wearing expensive wheels. Service history matters. Oil changes should have been completed on time. The correct fluids should have been used, and modifications deserve careful inspection. A Type S with aftermarket tuning, unknown software, and suspiciously new tires may have lived a very enthusiastic life. There are also safety recalls worth checking before buying. NHTSA documents show that certain 2021-2025 TLX Type S models were recalled because improper fuel injection control unit programming could cause hesitation, loss of drive power, or stalling under specific conditions. Another recall involved a limited number of 2021-2025 TLX models whose brake pedal pivot pin may not have been properly secured during production. These issues do not affect every TLX, but they make a VIN-based recall check essential before purchase. A recall should not automatically make you reject a vehicle. Manufacturers issue recalls specifically, so safety defects can be corrected without charging the owner. The important question is whether the work has been completed. Never accept the previous owner probably handled it as evidence. The previous owner may also have believed tire pressure was an opinion. Acura originally backed the 2025 TLX with a 4-year or 50,000-mile limited vehicle warranty and a 6-year or 70,000-mile powertrain warranty. The included maintenance program covered certain scheduled services for 1 year or 12,000 miles. Used examples may still retain part of their original coverage depending on their age, mileage, and original in-service date. A certified pre-owned TLX may provide additional reassurance. Acura's current Precision Certified program lists eligible recent vehicles with less than 80,000 miles, a 182-point inspection, powertrain coverage extending to 7 years or 100,000 miles, and non-powertrain coverage for up to 2 years or 100,000 miles, subject to program terms and the vehicle's original service date. That protection may be valuable now that the TLX is no longer sold new in Acura's current American lineup. But should you actually choose one over its competitors? Compared with the BMW 3 Series, the TLX feels heavier and less playful, but it offers distinctive styling, excellent all-weather traction, and potentially less intimidating long-term ownership. Compared with the Lexus IS, the Acura provides a more modern-feeling cabin and greater interior width, although the Lexus has a stronger reputation for conservative engineering. The Genesis G70 feels more compact and athletic, while the Cadillac CT5 offers more rear-wheel drive character and greater interior space. The TLX's greatest advantage is that it feels different. It is not attempting to imitate a German sedan perfectly. Its SHAWD system gives it a unique cornering character. Its design remains dramatic, and the Type S delivers real performance without becoming harsh or exhausting during everyday driving. Its greatest weakness is that its appearance promises more excitement than the standard powertrain can always provide. The regular TLX is quick, comfortable, and composed, but it is not a lightweight sports sedan. The Type S is the model that comes closest to fulfilling the promise. Yet even that car behaves more like a muscular grand tourer than a precise track machine. So, is the Acura TLX sporty or just average? The standard TLX is sportier than the average premium sedan, but less thrilling than its design suggests. It is a comfortable, sophisticated daily driver with strong steering, excellent traction, and enough performance for real roads. The Type S is genuinely sporty, but its weight prevents it from becoming the class benchmark. And perhaps that is the TLX's real identity. It is not the fastest, lightest, most spacious, or most luxurious sedan in its class. But it combines striking design, strong performance, useful technology, solid comfort, and uncommon all-weather capability in a package that rarely feels ordinary. Would we recommend one? Yes, especially as a carefully inspected used or certified pre-owned purchase. The standard model makes sense for drivers who want comfort and style. The Type S makes sense for someone who wants more character and is prepared for higher running costs. Now tell us in the comments, would you choose the Acura TLX Type S, the BMW M340i, the Lexus IS, or the Genesis G70? Subscribe to VHCar for more honest reviews, comparisons, reliability investigations, and automotive stories. The TLX may not be the perfect sports sedan, but calling it average would ignore what makes it interesting. And honestly, average cars usually do not look this angry while sitting in a grocery store parking lot.